Okay, so the first coronavirus conspiracy theory claims that coronavirus was either created by the US military or the Chinese, but as a bioweapon to kill off all the older people and Muslims. Let me just read that again. So they claim that coronavirus was either created by the US military or the Chinese government as a bioweapon to kill off all the older people and Muslims. Where do I start with this one? So there's one camp that believe that it's the US government that's behind this, or the US military that's behind this. The second group of people believe that it's actually the Chinese government that created this coronavirus. It kind of brings you back to this whole Darwin survival of the fittest thing. And it's a way of kind of mass exterminating the weak, the elderly, or the infirm. I really think that sounds more like a plot out of a book. And I know right now everything going on is rather surreal and rather chaotic, but I really, really, really and truly do not believe this at all. So let's take one part of this and say if it was created by the Chinese government to exterminate the old and the infirm and the Muslim, the most recent reports out of that part of the world in China is actually positive. They've had less cases of coronavirus, and in fact more people are being diagnosed outside of China than inside, and they're showing that more people now are kind of recovering, and the measures that they put in place, like the restrictions on travel and the lockdown, has been helping. So it wouldn't make sense, in my opinion, for the government to release something deliberately to target people and then take measures to protect those same people. You have to choose one side. And the same thing applies to the US government. It wouldn't make sense. The US government, any nation relies on the strength of its people. I mean, the economy, productivity, the workforce. Why would you kill off a whole society or a whole group of people? It makes no sense. No sense at all. So that's what I think about that one. The second conspiracy theory claims that coronavirus is the result of people eating bats in Wuhan, China. At this stage in the game, I'm sure everybody knows that coronavirus originated from Wuhan in China. That's not under any doubt at all. And we do know, or what we are aware, is that this came as a result of people trading animals like bats and other wildlife illegally. We don't have any evidence that coronavirus came directly from people eating animals. And from what we know about how it's transmitted from person to person, it's from inhaling the aerosol droplets from when someone with coronavirus coughs, sneezes close to you. And it also has to get into the respiratory tract, like your nose and your breathing passages. So this claim is, for me, I don't see any legitimacy. And actually, it's not a helpful claim to make. All it does is that it builds more xenophobia, more racism against a particular group of people, and it's ill-informed. Right now, we don't need to be blaming or attacking each other. We need to all be coming together to find cures and ways of beating this so that we can look at it in the rear view mirror rather than still arguing amongst ourselves about, oh, you caused it, no, you caused it. That's not really helpful. And I think let's just move on. Number 3. 5G caused the spread of coronavirus. With any new technology that gets rolled out, there's always people that are going to be skeptical about it. And 5G technology is no exception. Some people are claiming that the coronavirus is the 5G technology attacking us and attacking our brains. Where the heck did this come from? Who the heck came up with this theory? How does brainwave, how does 5G technology, which I'm not a physicist, I don't know about the transmission, I don't know how it works, but I do know about viruses and biology. I don't know how the virus and wave, sound waves or 5G waves, how that would completely, how that would work. There is no kind of logical sequence for this one. And therefore, in my opinion, it doesn't make sense. Myth number 4. Hydroxychloroquine is a cure for coronavirus. Hydroxychloroquine is a drug that's been used for decades. It's actually an anti-malarial drug that's particularly used often in countries like West Africa, where malaria is more of an issue. In the last couple of weeks, some vocal people who shall not be named have come out proposing that hydroxychloroquine is a cure for coronavirus. As of today, when I'm filming this video, there is no known cure for coronavirus. That's not to say that technologies, drugs, trials are not going on behind the scenes. They are. But as of today, we still don't have any conclusive ones. And as a result of this claim by, certain presidents of the United States, I may say, and other people who are not well informed, that's now led to people rushing to buy this medicine and using it without any form of testing. That is dangerous. I would not advise that at all. Firstly, you shouldn't be using any medicine without advice from a doctor who's able to explain about the side effects, how it's supposed to work, and make sure that you're taking the correct dose. What we've now heard as a result of people rushing to buy hydroxychloroquine is that now people are coming in with signs of hydroxychloroquine poisoning, which is what happens when you take too much. These are not Smarties or sweets or candies. These are actual drugs which have the potential to do harm. So before you start taking some medicine that has not been tested for this specific reason, that you don't know how you should take it, you don't know the dose, you don't know the precautions, I would really think twice. So my advice is, don't do that. Wait for your health agency or your government to come out with a cure or to come out with the news, and speak to a doctor before you start to take any new medication. Myth number 5, and that is celebrities that have tested positive for coronavirus actually don't have it, and they're being paid to say they do. Yes, I don't understand why somebody would admit to having a disease. I don't understand. It's like me now saying I have cancer, or I have multiple sclerosis, or I have something else. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? Even if you're not religious, it's kind of putting out negative energy. And why would a celebrity, I think somebody would have to be really, really manipulative, or really, have some psychological problems to come out, especially at this time, and say, I have coronavirus, when they don't, and they're being paid. Firstly, who is paying them to say this? Who? Is it a government? Is it an individual? Is it some cult? And secondly, why would you pay somebody to say that? What does it benefit you? What do you get out of it? I think that's an ignorant assumption to make. From my perspective, I'm going to assume that if you tell me you have coronavirus, that you do, especially if you tell me that you've been tested for it and that these tests are positive. So it doesn't matter whether you're famous or not famous. I treat everyone the same. And whether it's Prince Charles that's now been tested positive for coronavirus, or it's Idris Elba, or it's somebody else, or Tom Hanks, celebrities are people just like you and me. They have the same parts, and they are also prone to getting sick. So it's no wonder that celebrities are just as vulnerable and just as able to pick up coronavirus as somebody off the street. So this to me is an ignorant assumption. It's an ignorant opinion. and it's counterproductive. The last myth, which may be more popular among certain groups like the anti-vaxxers communities, etc., or people that are against modern science, they're claiming that coronavirus is actually a bioweapon. I would like to always think the best of humankind and assume that mankind hasn't gotten to that level of treachery or manipulation. So that's the first part. The second thing is that this is actually backed up by what we know, by studies and research. Lots of people are studying the actual genetic sequence of the coronavirus and looking at it under the microscope to study what it looks like. And what they found is that it is brand new. It does not represent anything that we already know to exist. And mankind, what we are good at doing is copying or synthesizing things we already know. If I've never heard of coronavirus or I've never heard of some specific illness, how am I able to create something that's never existed before? So to me, this final claim is bogus. It's likely that it came as a result of a mutation, which is what our current knowledge of this virus suggests. And until somebody comes out and says, hey, I'm the one, I'm the mad scientist behind this, and I created this in my lab, and I've unleashed it all, and you're gonna have to, deal with it, then I'm choosing to believe that this was a mutation of a virus that's now spread out of control. And when you look back in history, this isn't the only time. We've had the bubonic plague, we've had the Spanish flu, we've had SARS, we've had MERS. So when you look back, this isn't the only time that something like this has ever happened. So it's therefore incomprehensible to assume that it's never going to happen and we'd never have outbreaks in future. That's what I think.